Right, I've tasked myself with doing the electrics for the annex or the extension above the garage. And my idea is to take the power from this outside socket here, which principally serves the pump and has a spare socket outlet. But I'm going to hardwire it. I'm not going to use a plug, simply because a plug is less secure. It's not the proper way to do it. And I want to guarantee that the connections are good and that we haven't got a loose plug or a bug in the plug that creates a short circuit. So I'm going to try and do it properly. So I've taken the face of this off to reveal what's there already, and in fact I did install this socket myself. The wires were just sticking out of the wall left by the electrician, so I actually installed it. Yeah, so I'm sure I can get another wire into each of those screw holes, and then I'll take the main wire to the annex out of the bottom. There's a punch, you can see 3 at the top here. There's 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom and 1 at the side. So I'm going to use the center one, and I'm going to use blue pipe down the wall and along here, and then it's going to go under the ground. Not very far, just so that we can't see it really, just enough to give it some protection. I mean, the wire's going to be in a blue pipe anyway for protection, and all the joints are going to be glued so that we can't get any moisture in there. Basically it's a water pipe, but we're using it to keep water out this time rather than keep it in, so that's the best solution. The yellow pipe that's used for electrical work is really just conduit that's designed to show where the stuff goes and to give it a very minimal protection, but it's never used below ground. It's always used in walls or in the roof space. So the idea is the blue pipe will go under the ground all the way along the house, straight across, and come up and go up that wall there, the garage wall, and it will disappear into the roof there, and then after that it gets connected to a 4-way RCBO consumer unit for additional safety, and from there it will feed the garage and the annex. So I've got to just decide how I'm going to approach this, because I've got to feed the wire through the blue pipe, but I've also got to make sure the joints are secured. So I've basically got to glue the joints first and then feed the wire through, and I'm not quite sure whether I should start at this box or whether I should start at the garage end. Okay, I've managed to cut a hole in the bottom there, so the pipe goes into the socket now, so there won't be any sort of bare wires just at that point. What I want to do now, I think, is start to feed the wire. I've got 100 meters of 3-core here, substantial 2.5mm wire. So I think I need to start feeding that through, and then I'll have to see if I can glue the joints. Yeah, after I've fed the wire through, I want to glue the joints. I think it's just going to be a bit easier like that, perhaps. I just can't see how I'm going to get the wire all the way through that pipe with all the twists and turns it's going to have if I glue it all together first. Right, let's see what happens. Well, I think you can see the problem here. This, I mean, this wire is good in one way because it's very stiff, so you can push it quite easily. But on the other hand, it's so stiff that it won't bend around the bends. So I bent the end over slightly, and that got me past the first bend, which incidentally are not 90-degree bends, because there's no way I reckon I'm going to be able to feed wire through a 90-degree bend. So I've used two 45s to give it a gentler curve. But as you could see there, I struggled to get that piece out, so I'm definitely going to push this wire through and then glue afterwards. If I don't use too much glue on the fittings, it shouldn't catch on the electrical wire. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully I'll be successful doing that. And I've just got to work out what all the pieces are that I need to do. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to work out the length of this wire from where I want to put the fuse box, the consumer unit. The consumer unit's going to go on the wall here. So what I want to do is I'll get the ladder in here, and I'll actually lay the wire out how it should be, and give a little bit of slack for where the fuse box is going to be, and then I can then say for certain how long the wire's got to be. Yes, that's the best thing to do. Right, now I'm going to start pulling individual pieces through, and it's a lot easier, I have to say. Next lot. Long ones next. Right, I'm going to start gluing the joints now. Now this pipe has to be buried, of course, which means that pipe will be lower than I first cut it. And what I really need to do is get another 45-degree joint on the top of it, just so that it's really there's less possibility of any wind blowing any moisture inside that pipe. I haven't got another 45-degree joint at the moment, so I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as much as I can and buy another 45-degree joint in the next couple of days, and thread it on the end of the wire and shimmy up and just press it into place. I don't think it needs sticking as it's so far up in the protective area. I just want to make sure really that there is an extra bit of protection from that open pipe. So we need to bury this now and also fix the other end. Well, I'm not going to fix the other end yet because I need to slide it up into the box and actually do the wiring. Yeah, let's see what I might do with that. Let's have a look. Now obviously I don't want to connect this end up here because that means the dangling end in the garage will be live, so I've got to leave it unconnected, but I might well cut off the right length of wire ready for connecting it and just wrap the end in some insulating tape, just so that I can fix the pipes and bury them and get as far as I can. I mean, the last thing I want to do is to connect that wire to that box there. I'm waiting for the consumer units to arrive. They've been ordered from Lazada, and when the one comes for the garage, then I'll be able to wire that in, and then it's easy peasy really in terms of wiring up the garage and the house, because I can work off the consumer unit, turn the power off there and work from there. Right, let's get this pipe buried.